What's going on, everybody? It's me, Aaron P, the motherfucker to be, and this is another thrilling episode of Stupid Movie Tuesday, where I look at some movies. They don't have to be stupid, they can be really good, which is the case for today's episode. Today's episode is the much anticipated, the much one I've waited for movie of the year so far. We are doing the New Edition story. I'm going to review all 6 hours of that movie in this show. And yeah, it was good. Before we get into that, just want to thank everybody for listening, subscribing, sharing with your friends, families, enemies, and whatever. I just got back from Chicago last night, and I'm exhausted, y'all. Like I'm tired as hell. I got shit to do after this show and stuff and all that, and I'm just like knocked out. I gotta go back to work tomorrow and all that stuff. But once I get back into the groove, I'm gonna be all right, y'all. Don't even trip on me. But yeah, so Chicago was great. Got to see the family and stuff. Chicago was Chicago. You know, it was everything that I expected it to be. Snowed. Just hanging with the family and stuff. Got to see my grandmas. I took a great picture with both of my grandmas. I think that's like the first time I've ever taken a picture with both of my grandmas at the same time. I'm in the process right now getting that shit framed to put up on my wall and stuff. If y'all don't know about me and my grandmas, I'm very close to both of them. I was very happy to see them both. My sister is doing great. She's due in a couple weeks, so I'll be back in Chicago in a couple months. I'm gonna wait for the baby to get, a couple months older and stuff, a little bit interesting and stuff, and not so, small and delicate and stuff. Man, and also I got cousins having babies also. Like, man, in the last 14 months, I want to say, in the last 14 months, basically almost the last year and a half, my family has had, I think, 6 new babies. So yeah, everybody's got babies now and stuff. Not me though. It's like a couple of us that ain't got kids, and it's a cool feeling and stuff. It's great seeing everybody. Great seeing like all the new babies and stuff. I got a little cosplayer that I just recruited into the team. My cousin's baby Ava, her youngest girl, wants me to make her a Spider-Man costume. Y'all heard me right. She said Spider-Man. She made sure that I knew it was Spider-Man and not no other Spider. So I gotta make a teeny tiny costume for my baby. And yeah. She's so excited about it. I got the biggest seat, and she's like a couple years old and gave me the biggest, warmest hug ever. She gets like adult hugs and stuff. Bet hugs and something better than fucking adults and stuff. Yeah, so everything's great with the family and stuff. I was glad to get back for a couple days. I saw a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a while, man. Some people I'm like, oh shit, y'all cool than some bitch, But yeah, I'm gonna be back in Chicago very soon to meet my new niece and see the family again. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, y'all gonna hear this shit right here on the show. I probably ain't gonna stay at my mom's house. The next time I go out there, that probably ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna give me an Airbnb or something, stay with one of the cousins or something. Cause man, that house is too damn full for me now. I can't do it. I just can't do it. So let's get into the show. So last week was a TV event. The New Edition story. It went on for 3 nights. They covered 30-something years in 3 nights. And I'm watching part 1 right now as the show goes on. If y'all can't hear it, they got Is This the End playing. This is a very transitional song in the movie. Cause like it starts when you're really young kids and stuff, and it transitions to where they're like teenagers and adults. And while they're singing the song Is This the End, and I'm gonna sing a little bit. I'm gonna sing my part a little bit later, and they just do the nice transition of them. They do straight morph of the kids into their adult counterparts, and it was done really good. It was done very, very well. The casting in this movie was great. I didn't disagree with any of the casting besides the Ronnie DeVoe part, which I've talked about many times. I should have fucking been running the vote. But, yeah. Casting was good. The story was just great. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna cry at some points. You're gonna get pissed the fuck off. You're gonna get shocked as hell. At a key point in this movie that I'll talk about it in a little bit, which really hit home with me. But yeah, I'm watching it. One of the key lessons in the movie is always read something before you sign something. Like, straight up. These kids got straight fucked over. Sideways, man. You gotta read shit before you sign it. Story about friendship, about brotherhood, because these guys fought a lot, and that's how brothers are, honestly. You know, I have brothers, I have male cousins. I grew up with a bunch of cousins and stuff, and like all the guys, we fought all the time, but like we love each other. We always got each other's back and shit. But it's a good movie, and I've caught myself when I was watching it. I had to make me some damn space, man, because y'all know I got my New Edition cover group, and we up here, we jamming. I'm singing all the songs and stuff. I knew every song in this movie, and people were just like, "Dang, Aaron, you gotta." Like, I don't fuck around when I say I'm a New Edition fan. Hold on, real quick, my part coming up. Mama told me one day it was gonna happen, but she never told me when. She told me it would happen when I watched my shoulder. Wish it would have happened then. Mama told me one day it was gonna happen, but she never told me when. She told me it would happen when I watched my shoulder. Wish it would have happened. Is this the end? Man. And you start watching and you're just like, man. And a lot of... let me just get into it. Because I've talked about me being a fan of New Edition a lot on this show and my other show, Aaron Explains the Universe. But I really need to get into the why on it. Now, my mom grew up in the 60s and 70s and stuff. And she had like groups like Jackson 5, the Temptations and stuff. All that. She had that watching. New Edition was my Jackson 5. You know, these are like 5 cats and stuff. They was just like doing stuff that I could do. And it was just cool watching them because like they had moves and stuff. They had girls screaming for them all over the place. My first concert was New Edition. They actually covered one of their most successful tour was covered in this movie, the Heartbreak Tour. That was my first concert when I was like 5-6 years old. I saw Bobby Brown, Al B. Sure, and New Edition, and it was like the greatest thing I ever seen at that point. Just seeing like how, and I'm 6, and I'm just looking like, man, they can like control a fucking crowd like that. And if you've ever seen me like live on stage, like performing, you know, stand up or like singing karaoke or something like that, I fucking command a fucking crowd, and like I get a lot of that from just like watching, you know, my favorite artists and stuff. And New Edition by far is one of my favorite by far my favorite R&B group. Sorry. And in this story, it's just so fascinating because there's so many ups and downs from it. Like, they worked like on a 6-month tour, selling millions of records, but their bus is still dropping them off at the projects. You know, they ain't got shit to show for it. You know, basically they just sign their lives away, and then they get a check for $1.87. You know. Because of fucking expenses and stuff. And a lot of it is, you know, not reading your contract. You know? Then you see, like, all the stories where they grow up and, like, all the you know, the stuff that happened with Bobby Brown, his drug use, and, like, his, like, stage antics, which ended up getting him voted out of the group. You see the addition of Johnny Gill, who Ralph didn't know until he showed up for the first damn rehearsal for the Heartbreak album, you know? Like everybody else know, Ralph had a whole solo album ready to go, and they convinced him to hold back. The record label convinced him to hold back on it till after Heartbreak, but he couldn't release it because Bobby basically did everything that he was trying to do with his album that just was huge, so it would look like a copycat album, so he had to put that on the show. And like he put out his solo album after everybody else did, and Ralph Tresvant, great fucking singer and all that stuff, but his direction that he had took was his own undoing, because By the time they had all went solo, Johnny Gill was rubbing you the right way, and my, Bobby Brown was Bobby. You know, the Don't Be Cruel album was the shit. Like, that's one of my favorite albums to this day. Belle Biv DeVoe, Poison. You still can't go out in 2017 without hearing Poison some damn way, you know. So, you know, the whole impact, and then Ralph came out with Sensitivity, and, like, you know, women weren't really feeling that. Women weren't looking for a man with sensitivity at that point no more. But you see how they all grow up, you see how they all, you know, interact with each other, and it's just one of those movies that when I look at it, I can take a lot of things into it, like my own friendships. I've had the same group of friends for the majority of my life. Like, the super majority of my life has been with the same group of friends. And I include my cousins in this, Ian, Niall, Sky. I include them in that as well because, you know, not only are they my cousins, these are my best fucking friends. And you see, like, all those relationships, like, you know, we love each other, but it's like sometimes, you know, you just butting heads with people. You know, you grow out of it. Like, we grew older and, like, we close as hell. Me being the furthest one away, I still make a point to, like, contact all my relatives and see how they doing and stuff, especially the ones that I'm closest to. We fucking got a trip scheduled for Vegas later on in the year. But, like, this movie, like, I've watched it several times. It's been a week since it was all released, so I watched it several times just to absorb the story. And I want everybody to watch this too. It's on BET. You can watch it on the BET app or whatever if you ain't got cable or whatnot like that. Like, it's a great fucking movie. Well casted, well acted. The pacing is great because, you know, you don't want to tell a 30-year story in a 2-hour movie. That's a lot of shit you gotta compact and leave out and stuff. They actually took their time with this and, like, spread it all out. And you learn some things. Like, I knew Bobby Brown was young when he had his, like, when he started having kids, but I didn't know how young. I didn't know, like, these boys was fathers and fathers to be around the time when Mr. fucking Telephone Man came out. You know what I mean? Like, or like how all of them was wild. Like, it wasn't just Bobby. Like, they always try to make it seem like it was just Bobby that was wild. It's like, no. One of the lines in the movie was like Ricky said, it's like, hey, look, man, we all doing the same shit. You just the one getting caught. You know? And then, like, one of the pivotal points in the movie, which really, really hit home with me, was, now, I know I keep saying how, like, I auditioned for the part of Ronnie DeVoe in the movie, but, however, the member in New Edition that I identify with the most, outside of the only light-skinned dude, Ronnie DeVoe, was Ricky. My vocal range is more so of Ricky's. I liked his parts more, for the most part. He had a part in the movie where it was just basically revealed. He basically came out in this movie and told people that, like, yeah, man, I've been a drug addict for a while. And he's just been battling addiction for, like, a long time. And that hit home with me because, for those who don't know, I brought this up on my other show. I've had my problems with, like, addiction and stuff. Like, I've had a long alcohol problem that I finally, like, controlled. I didn't quit drinking. I just controlled my alcohol intake and stuff. Like, it's basically a story about fucking control when it comes to me and alcohol. I also had a major problem with, like, pain pills. This came right around the time of cancer and stuff, and I just, like, became, like, dependent on, like, fucking pain pills because, like, my fucking body was hurting. Like, I have a bone condition and shit, and, like, pain pills were, like, the only thing that could really take the edge off. And at a certain time, mix that with the alcohol and stuff, you know. And you wouldn't know it unless I told you, because I was a very functional person about it and stuff, you know. But it affected a lot of aspects of my life. Like, the people closest to me who knew about it and stuff, like, the relationship with the ex-girlfriend who shall not be named. That shit, those problems played a huge part of why that shit didn't fucking work out. And I've never really told the full story